Welcome back to the Upper Room. Happy September to you all. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. In church on Sundays, we've been working so hard to refine our vision so we know who we're called to be as a church and what we're called to do. The vision is so big and so important, and it has eternal consequences. How do we actually get started? What steps can we take? Sometimes when a vision is so large and so grand, no one knows how to move. We're going to spend the next few weeks in the Upper Room working on simple and practical steps that we can take to get us started. Here's a couple of things we need to understand when it comes to the calling we have with our church. Number one, God is the one who will ultimately reach Kingman. It's not all on us at all, and it will be in His timing. We're called to work the kingdom fields with Him for a harvest, but we don't get a guarantee we're going to see a harvest overnight. He just asks us to be faithful. The second thing we need to understand is that in the kingdom, little things are big. Sometimes we think we need to do these epic grand gestures, and there may be times and places for that, but we must not underestimate the little things. After all, God is the great magnifier and multiplier. When we talk about reaching Kingman, we almost always get challenged to reach our neighbors, coworkers, unsaved family, and our friends. I was talking to a Christian friend this week about his neighbors. He only has a few, and he said there's only so much you can do. You can't force someone to come into the kingdom. I couldn't agree more. This is why we should make our primary ministry part of who we are, not just something we try to do when we find ourselves inclined or really motivated to do it. When I need some help understanding what I'm supposed to do as a Christian, it's most helpful to me to remember who I'm called to be. Now I'm kind of speaking in riddles. Let me put it simply. When I'm not sure how to engage this world for Christ, I remember Jesus speaking to His disciples in His Sermon on the Mount, told them that they are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. This is who we are, and this is what we're called to do. On Labor Day at my house, we had a big family meal, and I grilled some red meat, and I used mostly salt and some pepper to make a dry rub. We had baked potatoes and corn on the cob. Salt played a key role in making sure all those foods tasted great. The thing with salt, you don't need a ton to have an impact. If we didn't have salt for corn on the cob, I don't think I'd have any. Salt in our Labor Day meal was almost invisible, but it played a huge role. Jesus also said that we are light. Ever turn out the lights to go to bed and your room goes jet black? And the problem is you realize you needed to get something and now because it's so dark you can't see anything? In those moments, normally I will grope around the side table next to my bed, hoping my hand will find my phone so I can turn the flashlight on. Once I get that flashlight on, everything changes in my room. I can see. The world needs our light right now. We need to be ready and able to share the gospel when God opens that door for us. And in between those important moments, we should be praying for people and we should be salt and light wherever we go. If we just be who God made us to be, salt and light, we'll have an impactful ministry to a world that's watching us, and half of the time we might not even realize it. Every day is honestly a test. It's not a pop quiz. The very definition of a pop quiz is that it pops out of nowhere. When we face a test in any given day, we shouldn't be surprised. We should live with an expectation that a test could be coming at any moment. That person who cut me off on the road, that's not a terrible person. They're just my test for the day. And when you accidentally cut someone off on the road and they follow you, honk their horn, flip you off and yell at you, that person is your test as well. That annoying coworker is a spiritual test. Your kid's crisis caused by a lack of planning ahead on their part is a test. The juicy bit of information that you're excited to gossip about to your friend about someone you both know, that's a test. If you want to be salt in the world, if you want to be light, you just need to start passing these tests. They're not hard if you know they're coming. But if you're caught off guard, your flesh may cause you to react, and you could be burning up your witness and example before you even realize what's happening. For the next few weeks, we're going to talk about some little things that we can do to be salt and light everywhere we go. We'll talk about the impact of kindness. We're going to talk about the impact of serving the people in your life. We're going to talk about the effects on your social environment when you stop being easily offended. And we're going to talk about the long-term witnessing power of living a life of integrity. Because I spent so much of my allotted time setting up what we're talking about, I'm going to end today with something super small that I think has a huge impact. There's a question that you can ask that has tremendous ministry potential, and this question is only 3 words long. One of the most underrated questions for ministry is, how are you? This question is a bridge builder. In just 3 words, you're communicating that you care, and you reveal that you're willing to do something really impactful. You're showing that you're willing to listen. If you ask, how are you to someone, you're communicating that you see them and that you care enough to check on them. This little challenge seems so small, it sounds almost silly, but I think this is a great warm-up to where we're going. Little things in the kingdom have big impact. You can put this to the test this week. Here's your challenge. Try and ask 3 to 4 people those 3 simple words every day this week. It can be the same person. It can be different people all week long. If you've got kids, this is a great question to ask them. And you absolutely should be asking your spouse this every single night. Sometimes we think we have to be Billy Graham Jr. with our neighbors or with our coworkers. But as my mentor taught me many years ago, people don't care about what you know until they know how much you care. This small conversation starter isn't that small. Ask 3 to 4 people, how are you every day this week? And then patiently and attentively listen. Don't allow yourself to instantly tell them how to solve the problem. Empathize with them if they're having a hard time. Encourage them. Ask if there's anything you can do at the end of the conversation. If you feel it's right, ask if you can pray for them. If you know this person is not going to be comfortable with that, then as you disengage with them, let them know you're going to keep them in your prayers. Then remember to pray for them, and in a few days, or the next time you see them, follow up. If you ask, how are you doing? And they don't just spill all their struggles out, that's okay too. You don't have to try to wring those details out of them. You've already communicated that you care. You can't say our homework is hard this week, but be intentional to ask that question and watch what God does with it. I'm telling you, little things have a big impact. Stay salty and lit. We'll see you on Sunday. Blessings on you, Upper Room.